Check this out. Cal Ripken Jr. played 2,632 consecutive baseball games without missing a single day of work for over 16 years. That's like working every single day from 2008 until right now without ever calling in sick. But here's the crazy part. This isn't even the most unbreakable record in baseball history. Today, I'm breaking down 20 MLB records that are so ridiculous, they'll likely stand forever, and the reasons why modern baseball has made them virtually impossible to touch. Baseball is America's oldest major sport, and with over 150 years of history, it's given us some truly mind-blowing achievements. The saying goes that records are made to be broken. But that's not always true. Some records are so outrageous, so dependent on a specific era of baseball, or so reliant on superhuman endurance that they've become practically untouchable. I've studied the most impressive feats in baseball history and compiled the 20 most unbreakable records of all time. These aren't just difficult records to break, they're practically impossible given how the game has evolved. From pitching dominance to hitting prowess to Ironman streaks, these achievements stand as monuments to what was once possible in baseball but likely never will be again. So grab your glove, settle in, and let's explore these baseball mountains that no modern player will ever climb. I guarantee at least one of these will make your jaw drop. Cy Young's 511 career wins. Imagine winning 20 games every season for 25 straight years. That's what it would take to approach Cy Young's mind-boggling 511 career wins. Young pitched in an era when starters were expected to finish what they started, and he certainly did, completing 749 of his 815 career starts. That's a 92% completion rate across 22 seasons. To put this in perspective, Justin Verlander, one of the most durable and successful pitchers of our era, has 262 career wins. If Verlander wanted to catch Young, he'd need to repeat his best season, 24 wins, 11 more times. And considering Verlander has only topped 20 wins twice in his 20-year career, Young's record is completely safe. Modern baseball has made this record untouchable. With five-man rotations, pitch counts, innings limits, and specialized bullpens, starting pitchers simply don't get enough opportunities to accumulate wins. Even if a pitcher managed to stay healthy for 25 years, which is extremely rare, they'd need to average over 20 wins per season, something that almost never happens in today's game. Cy Young's 749 complete games. Speaking of complete games, Young's 749 complete games is perhaps the most unbreakable record in all of sports. This isn't just difficult to break, it's mathematically impossible in the modern era. The active leader in complete games is Justin Verlander, with just 26 complete games in his 20-season career. At that pace, Verlander would need to pitch for nearly 600 years to break Young's record. The game has fundamentally changed. In 2023, there were only 29 complete games thrown by all MLB pitchers combined. At that rate, it would take one pitcher 26 years to break Young's record if they threw every complete game in baseball. This record isn't just safe, it's untouchable. Walter Johnson's 110 career shutouts. The Big Train. Walter Johnson didn't just complete games, he dominated them, throwing 110 shutouts in his career. For context, Clayton Kershaw, arguably the greatest pitcher of our generation, has just 15 career shutouts. Johnson pitched during the dead ball era when scoring was much lower, and he took full advantage. Even Cy Young, his contemporary and one of the greatest pitchers ever, only managed 76 career shutouts. With today's offensive environment, advanced analytics, and the rarity of complete games, this record will never be approached. Most modern pitchers don't even throw 110 complete games in their careers, let alone shutouts. The active leader in shutouts is Kershaw with 15, and he's nearing the end of his career. Nolan Ryan's 5,714 career strikeouts. The Ryan Express ran for 27 seasons, averaging 9.5 strikeouts per 9 innings, and amassing an incredible 5,714 career strikeouts. What makes this record so untouchable isn't just the number, it's the longevity required to reach it. Ryan pitched until he was 46 years old and threw over 5,300 innings in his career. Today's pitchers rarely approach 3,000 innings, let alone 5,000. The current active leader is Max Scherzer, with about 3,367 strikeouts, still over 2,300 shy of Ryan's mark. Even with today's higher strikeout rates, pitchers simply don't throw enough innings or last long enough to threaten this record. A pitcher would need to average 200 strikeouts for nearly 29 seasons to break Ryan's record, a combination of dominance and longevity that seems impossible in the modern game. Johnny Vander Meer's consecutive no-hitters. In June 1938, Reds pitcher Johnny Vander Meer accomplished something that defies probability. He threw no-hitters in back-to-back starts on June 11th against the Boston Bees and June 15th against the Brooklyn Dodgers. Think about what it would take to break this record: 3 consecutive no-hitters. The odds are astronomical. Throwing just one no-hitter requires exceptional skill and luck. Even the greatest pitchers in history have only managed a handful in their entire careers. Nolan Ryan holds the record with 7 career no-hitters, but even he never threw them consecutively. In the modern era, pitchers are often removed during no-hit bids due to pitch counts. Clayton Kershaw has been pulled more than once while working on a no-hitter, including a perfect game through 7 innings when he had only thrown 80 pitches. With today's focus on pitcher health, this record seems destined to stand forever. Cal Ripken Jr.'s 2,632 consecutive games played. From May 30th, 1982 to September 19th, 1998, Cal Ripken Jr. didn't miss a single game. That's 16 years and 2,632 consecutive games, all with the Baltimore Orioles. The closest active streak belongs to Matt Olson at around 646 games, not even a quarter of the way to Ripken's mark. To break this record, a player would need to play every game for over 16 seasons without injury, illness, or even a day of rest. In today's era of load management, specialized roles, and increased focus on player health, teams simply don't allow players to play every day anymore. Even the most durable players get regular rest days. This record required not just extraordinary durability, but also a different era of baseball philosophy that no longer exists. Pete Rose's 4,256 career hits. Charlie Hustle accumulated 4,256 hits over his 24-year career, averaging an incredible 177 hits per season. To break this record, a player would need to average 200 hits for 21 straight seasons. The active leaders are nowhere close. Freddie Freeman has about 2,146 hits and would need to average 200 hits for the next 10 years to approach Rose's record. By that time, Freeman would be 44 years old. Modern players simply don't last as long or get as many at-bats as Rose did. With increased specialization, higher injury rates, and more days off, accumulating 4,256 hits seems impossible in today's game. Ichiro Suzuki's 262 hits in a season. In 2004, Ichiro set the single-season hit record with an astounding 262 hits for the Seattle Mariners. What made this possible was Ichiro's unique combination of elite contact skills, speed, and durability. He had 704 at-bats that season. To break this record, a player would need to hit around 370 over 700-plus at-bats. For context, the player with the most at-bats in recent seasons had 671, meaning they would need to hit 390 to break Ichiro's record, a batting average that hasn't been achieved in over 30 years. In today's game, contact hitting has fallen out of favor, replaced by power hitting and higher strikeout rates. Teams now prefer players who can hit 40 home runs rather than those who can slap 200 singles. This record, while relatively recent, already seems like a relic of a different era. Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak. In 1941, Joe DiMaggio hit safely in 56 consecutive games, creating what many consider baseball's most famous record. During this 2-month span, he batted .408, slugged 15 homers, drove in 55 runs, and struck out just 5 times. The closest anyone has come since was Pete Rose in 1978 with a 44-game streak. Today, even a 20-game hitting streak is considered noteworthy, and that's just 36% of the way to DiMaggio's record. With specialized pitching, defensive shifts until recently, and the emphasis on power over contact, maintaining consistency for 56 straight games seems impossible. A player would need to have a hit in 30 consecutive games, already a major achievement, and then continue for another 27 games beyond that. Ty Cobb's .366 career batting average. Over 24 seasons, Ty Cobb maintained a .366 career batting average, winning 12 batting titles and hitting over .403 times. This record has stood for nearly a century, and no modern player has come close. In today's game, hitting 300 for a season is considered excellent. Hitting 366 for an entire career? Unthinkable. The last time any player hit over 366 in a single season was 20 years ago when Ichiro hit 372 in 2004. With increased pitcher velocity, specialized relievers, and advanced defensive positioning, batting averages have steadily declined. No player who has played in the past 50 years is even in the top 20 for career batting average. This record is completely safe. Rickey Henderson's 1,406 career stolen bases. The self-proclaimed greatest of all time backed it up with 1,406 stolen bases over his 25-year career. Henderson revolutionized the leadoff role, combining elite speed with unmatched base-running IQ. The active leader, Starling Marte, has been in the majors since 2012 and has only about 356 career stolen bases, still over 1,000 behind Henderson. Even with recent rule changes to encourage more stealing, no player is likely to approach Henderson's mark. To break this record, a player would need to average 70 stolen bases for 20 straight seasons. In 2023, only one player, Ronald Acuna Jr., stole more than 70 bases. With teams prioritizing power over speed and players slowing down as they age, Henderson's record seems untouchable. Rickey Henderson's 130 stolen bases in a season. Not only does Henderson hold the career record, but his single-season mark of 130 stolen bases set in 1982 is equally untouchable. He averaged nearly one stolen base per game that season. The closest any recent player has come was Ronald Acuna Jr. with 73 steals in 2023, still 57 short of Henderson's record. Despite rule changes to encourage more stealing, the specialized nature of the modern game makes it unlikely anyone will approach 130 steals again. Hack Wilson's 191 RBIs in a season. In 1930, Cubs slugger Hack Wilson drove in an incredible 191 runs, finding runners on base at a historic rate during a high-offense era. He also hit 356 with 56 home runs that season. The closest modern attempt was Manny Ramirez's 165 RBIs in 1999, still 26 short of Wilson's mark. Driving in runs is highly context-dependent. You need runners on base ahead of you. Wilson had two excellent table setters in front of him, Kiki Kyler and Woody English, both with 428-plus OBPS. With lower league-wide batting averages and fewer base runners in today's game, reaching 191 RBIs seems impossible. Even the game's best power hitters would need a perfect storm of opportunities and clutch hitting to approach Wilson's record. Chief Wilson's 36 triples in a season. In 1912, Chief Wilson hit an astounding 36 triples for the Pittsburgh Pirates, taking advantage of spacious Forbes Field and dead ball era conditions. This record has stood for over 110 years. Modern players rarely exceed 15 triples in a season. In recent years, the league leaders have had around 10 to 12 triples. With smaller ballparks, stronger outfield arms, and an emphasis on home runs over speed, the triple has become baseball's rarest hit. The active leader in career triples is Charlie Blackmon with about 63, not even twice Wilson's single-season record. This record is perhaps the most untouchable of all hitting records. Hank Aaron's 6,856 career total bases. Hammer and Hank accumulated 6,856 total bases over his 23-year career, combining incredible power with remarkable consistency and durability. He averaged 146 games per season even though the early part of his career featured 154-game seasons. The closest active player is Freddie Freeman with about 3,950 total bases, still nearly 3,000 short of Aaron's record. To break this mark, a player would need to average 343 total bases for 20 years. For context, Mike Trout, despite 3 MVPs, has never had more than 339 in a season. Aaron led the league in total bases 8 times and had over 300 total bases in 15 separate seasons. This combination of power, consistency, and longevity is unmatched in baseball history and likely will remain so. Fernando Tatis Sr. has 2 grand slams in 1 inning. On April 23, 1999, Fernando Tatis Sr. accomplished perhaps the most statistically improbable feat in baseball history. Playing for the St. Louis Cardinals against the Los Angeles Dodgers, Tatis hit 2 grand slams in a single inning, both off the same pitcher, Chan Ho Park. What makes this record truly unbreakable isn't just the difficulty of hitting 2 grand slams in one game, which is rare enough, but the perfect storm of circumstances required for it to happen in the same inning. Consider what needs to occur. First, the bases must be loaded twice in the same inning. Second, the same batter must come to the plate both times. And third, that batter must hit a home run both times. MLB has actually calculated the odds of this happening again at approximately 12 million to 1. Even with today's high-scoring environment, the chances of a team batting around twice in an inning, having the bases loaded both times for the same hitter, and that hitter connecting for home runs both times are astronomically low. This record stands alone as perhaps the most statistically improbable achievement in baseball history, one that could theoretically be tied but never broken. Nolan Ryan's 7 career no-hitters. The no-hitter is baseball's most celebrated single-game pitching achievement, a rare gem that most pitchers dream of accomplishing just once. Nolan Ryan did it 7 times across 3 different decades, with his first coming in 1973 and his last in 1991 when he was 44 years old. To put this in perspective, only 3 active pitchers have thrown 3 no-hitters, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, and Corey Kluber, and they're all in the twilight of their careers. The gap between Ryan and the next closest pitcher, Sandy Koufax with 4, is almost as large as the gap between Koufax and a pitcher who's never thrown one. What makes this record particularly untouchable in the modern era is how pitchers are managed. Today's starters are regularly pulled from games after 100 pitches, even during no-hit bids. Clayton Kershaw was famously removed from a perfect game after 7 innings in 2022, despite having thrown only 80 pitches. With teams prioritizing long-term health over single-game achievements, the chances of any pitcher getting enough opportunities to throw 7 no-hitters are virtually zero. Ryan's no-hitters weren't just about longevity, they showcased his unique combination of overpowering stuff and wild unpredictability. He walked 8 batters in one of his no-hitters, showing that he didn't need to be perfect to be unhittable. His fastball remained devastating well into his 40s, allowing him to throw his final no-hitter at an age when most pitchers have been retired for years. For a younger pitcher to break Ryan's record, they would need to average a no-hitter every 3 seasons for 2 decades, something that is virtually impossible given modern pitch counts, 5-man rotations, and the specialized nature of today's game. This record, like many of Ryan's achievements, stands as a testament to a different era of baseball that we'll likely never see again. Rogers Hornsby's .424 batting average in a season. In 1924, Rogers Hornsby hit an incredible .424 for the St. Louis Cardinals, the highest batting average in the modern era, post-1900. During his peak from 1921 to 1925, Hornsby averaged an astonishing .402 across 5 seasons. To put this in perspective, no player has hit .400 in a single season since Ted Williams hit .406 in 1941, over 80 years ago. The closest recent approach was Tony Gwynn's .394 during the strike-shortened 1994 season. With today's pitchers throwing harder than ever, specialized bullpens, and advanced defensive positioning, batting averages have steadily declined. The league-wide batting average in recent seasons has hovered around .240 to .250, making a .424 average seem like science fiction. Even in an era of juiced balls and hitter-friendly conditions, no modern player has come within 50 points of Hornsby's mark. This record, set nearly a century ago, appears completely safe in the modern game. Shohei Ohtani's fastest 40-40 season. On August 23, 2024, Shohei Ohtani made history by becoming the fastest player ever to reach the prestigious 40-40 club, 40 home runs, and 40 stolen bases in a single season. He accomplished this feat in just 126 games, shattering the previous record held by Alfonso Soriano, who needed 147 games to reach the milestone in 2006. What makes Ohtani's achievement even more remarkable is how he did it with style. His 40th home run was a walk-off grand slam against the Tampa Bay Rays. This record-breaking season paved the way for Ohtani to become the first player in MLB history to join the even more exclusive 50-50 club. While this is one of the newer records on our list and theoretically could be broken by an exceptional player in the future, the combination of power and speed required makes it extremely difficult. The 40-40 club itself has only 7 members in MLB history, and Ohtani's pace was significantly faster than any previous member. Barry Bonds, 73 home runs in a season. In 2001, Barry Bonds shattered the single-season home run record by hitting an incredible 73 home runs, breaking Mark McGwire's mark of 70, set just 3 years earlier. What made this achievement even more remarkable was that Bonds hit those 73 homers in just 476 at-bats, an unprecedented rate of power. However, this record comes with significant context. Bonds' record-setting season came during what is now known as the steroid era, and Bonds himself was an admitted user of performance-enhancing substances. This has led many to question the legitimacy of the record. Regardless of the controversy, the number stands in the record books, and it appears untouchable in today's game. Since MLB implemented more rigorous PED testing, no player has come close to 73 home runs. The closest recent attempt was Aaron Judge's 62 homers in 2022, still 11 short of Bonds' mark. With today's emphasis on pitcher specialization, increased velocity, and a post-PD testing environment, it seems highly unlikely that any player will approach 73 home runs in a season without the advantages Bonds had. This record, while controversial, appears safe for the foreseeable future. These 20 records stand as monuments to what was once possible in baseball, but likely never will be again. The game has evolved dramatically, with specialized roles, advanced analytics, different training methods, and changing philosophies about player usage and health. Some of these records, like Cy Young's 511 wins and 749 complete games, are mathematically impossible in the modern game. Others, like DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak or Henderson's stolen base records, would require such an extraordinary combination of skill, luck, and opportunity that they're effectively untouchable. What makes baseball special is how it connects generations through these records. We can look back at what Cy Young, Walter Johnson, or Ty Cobb accomplished and marvel at their achievements, even knowing they came in a different era with different rules and conditions. So the next time someone tells you that records are made to be broken, you can point to these 20 achievements and confidently say, not these ones. They're baseball's unbreakable records, standing the test of time as testaments to the extraordinary capabilities of the game's greatest players. If you enjoyed this deep dive into baseball's most impressive records, hit that like button and subscribe for more baseball content. Let me know in the comments if you think I missed any unbreakable records or if you believe any of these might actually fall someday. Thanks for watching.